So let us start with the reading of the chapter Necklace. So she was one of those pretty young ladies born as if through an error of destiny because she was a very beautiful girl, you can say, a pretty young lady, and she thinks that she is born, sorry, to the family. It is just the error of the destiny into a family of clerks. She deserves to be born in some rich family. She had no dowry, no hopes, no means of becoming known, no means famous, loved, and married by a man either rich or distinguished. Distinguished means marked with some special quality, someone special, and she allowed herself to marry a petty clerk. He was having some small earning, petty clerk in the office of the Board of Education. She was simple, but she was unhappy. She suffered incessantly. Incessantly means continuously, feeling herself born for all delicacies. She wants that she should be uh, some, you can say, delicacy, some softness in her, and luxurious and comforts of life. She suffered from the poverty of her apartment. She was having small home, the shabby walls, the house was not so beautiful, and the worn chairs, the so much used chairs were there. All these things tortured and angered her. She feels herself inferior when she seated herself for dinner opposite her husband, who uncovered the tureen with a delighted air, uncovered something, an envelope in front of her with a delighted, with a happy air, saying, "Oh, the good potpay of I know nothing better than that." She would think of elegant dinners. She must be desiring to go for some elegant dinner parties of shining silver. She thought of the exquisite food served in the marvelous dishes, food items in beautiful decorative way. She had neither frocks nor jewels. Frocks means she doesn't have the pretty uniforms, dresses, or some jewels, nothing, and she loved only those things which she loved. She never had that. She had a rich friend, a schoolmate at convent where she was a student, who she did not like to visit. Why she doesn't want to visit her? Because she suffered so much when she returned. She wept for the whole days from despair and disappointment. She was so helpless, so disappointed, so unhappy. One evening, her husband returned elated. One day, when the husband came back from the office, he was puffed up. He was so much elated, happy, bearing in his hand a large envelope. Here, he said, "Here is something for you," as if he has brought something for her. It may be a gift for her. She quickly drew out a printed card on which were engraved, written these words: "The Minister of Public Instructions and Madame George Rampant ask the honor of Mr. and Mrs. Lozel's company Monday evening, January 18, at the minister's residence." That means it was an invitation for a party which was thrown by the Minister of Public Instructions. So instead of being delighted, instead of being happy, on her husband had hoped, because he hoped that she would be happy. She is going to get a chance to be at such a grand party. She threw the invitation spitefully, hatefully. She threw it away upon the table, murmuring, whispering to herself, "What do you suppose I want with that? What can I do with it? But, my dearie, I thought it would make you happy. It is some special invitation. I thought you'll be happy to join that. You never go out. You never go out for parties, for celebrations. And this is an occasion, it's a chance and a fine one, and the chance is also a beautiful one. Everybody wishes one, everybody deserves to join such parties, and it is very select. Very select means very few people are invited. Not many are given to the employees. Many invitations are not distributed. You will see the whole official world there. You will find some VIPs there. She looked at him with an irritated eye. She was so much irritated. She looked at him and declared impatiently. She was so impatient. What do you suppose I have to wear in such a thing as that? Do you think I have some nice dress to wear in such a grand party? Do you think so? So he had not thought of that. He stammered. Stammer means he was not able to speak properly. He was stammering, some sort of blockage. Uh, you can say he was not able to speak the words clearly. So he couldn't think about that. That she is to go to such a grand party and she had no such beautiful dress. Why? The dress you wear when you go to the theater. It seems very pretty to me. Whatever you wear when we go out for party, when we go out for theater, whatever you wear, you look very beautiful. He was silent, stupefied. He was so much confused, in dismay, in despair, at the sight of his wife weeping. Because she was weeping, he stammered again, "What is the matter? What is the matter?" By a voice effort, she had controlled her vexation. She controlled herself and responded in a calm voice, wiping her moist cheeks. Because she was weeping, she just wiped her cheeks and then said nothing. Only I have no dress, and consequently, I can't go to this affair. So I'm not going to join this party because I don't have beautiful dress to wear. Give your card to some colleague whose wife is better fitted out than me. Give this card to some of your colleagues whose wife is having such beautiful dress and can be suitable to join that party. I tell you, he was grieved. He was very sad, but answered, "Let us see, Matilda, how much would a suitable costume cost? Let us decide how much we are able to spend, how much it costs, something that would serve for other occasions. Some such dress which will be suitable at some other occasion also, something very simple." She reflected for some seconds, thinking of a sum that she could ask for without bringing what is it is an immediate refusal and a frightened exclamation from the economical clerk. She was just thinking what she should say, that her husband was not able to refuse. Finally, she said in a hesitating voice, "What? I can tell exactly what, but it seems to me that 400 franc ought to cover it. 400 franc would be sufficient to purchase a suitable dress." He turned a little pale. He was confused, for he saved just this sum to buy a gun that he might be able to join some hunting parties the next summer. He was able to purchase a gun for which he saved 400 francs to purchase that gun with some friends who went to shoot larks on Sunday. So, nevertheless, he answered, "Very well, I'll give you 400 francs, but try to have a pretty dress. I'll give you the money, go to the market and buy something beautiful, some pretty dress for you." The day of the ball approached. The party was on the day, and Ma'am Loisel seemed sad. She was very sad again, disturbed, anxious. Why? Nevertheless, her dress was nearly ready. The dress was ready to wear. Her husband said to her one evening, "What is the matter with you? You have acted strangely for 2 or 3 days. So, why are you acting so strange for the last 2 or 3 days?" And she responded, "I am vexed, I am still confused, distressed not to have a jewel, nothing to adorn myself with. How can I join the party without beautiful ornaments? I shall have such a poverty stricken look. I am wearing beautiful dress but without any jewelry. People will think of me that I am very poor. I would perfect not to go to this party. So I would prefer that I should not go to the party."